how do you orange pill someone within an hour, within 60 minutes? How do you explain to somebody what Bitcoin is, the significance of Bitcoin, the implications of Bitcoin on society and their own lives? How do you do it? It seems like an impossible task. It's not impossible, but it's very difficult. And the reason it's very difficult is because our brains have been trained for our whole lives to have a certain framework of understanding the world. And when you present something that inherently is different or contradictory, or perhaps completely flips that worldview, people have trouble accepting that. They have trouble pursuing that because it's uncomfortable and we don't like to do uncomfortable things. And eventually it's difficult to accept because more often than not, and almost unanimously, it's it's accepting Bitcoin is an admission that to some degree you were wrong. And I think this is one of the reasons why children actually have a very easy time being orange pilled, but that's a discussion for another time. The discussion for today is how do we do that as efficiently as possible and how quickly as possible? I believe that the fastest way to help somebody understand the potential of Bitcoin is to help them understand the problem that Bitcoin solves as quickly as possible. In all aspects of life, people don't want to accept solutions until the problem becomes big enough, understandable enough, and personal enough that they actually take action in their own lives and in their own communities and their own influence to accelerate that forward. People will not start working out until they have a health crisis. People will not start taking their finances seriously until they have student debt or they have kids or they have some sort of financial responsibility that they have to attend to. People won't do these things until the pressure, both negative pressure behind them and positive pressure forward, brings them into that solution. And so I think that's the problem when it comes to Bitcoin education, that we continue to say Bitcoin solution, but the problem's not clearly defined. And that's a project I'm working on. I'm working on a feature-length film in a mini-series, a series of films that will address this, will address the problem. It will be Bitcoin only. It will be focused on Bitcoin. However, the majority of the time goes to defining the problem in a precise way so that Bitcoin becomes the obvious solution to people. And I really do think that's the best way to approach it. The threads and the articles and the videos and the work I've done in the past that has gotten the most attention online has been precisely that, something that does not up front make it known it's about Bitcoin, but eventually becomes obvious because the problem is defined so well that it manifests itself. So how do you do that quickly? Well, like I said, it's basically impossible. However, here's my proposition. My hope is to make this project. Now, this project takes time, it takes energy, both on my behalf and on behalf of many other people that are helping me with this project. Have already helped me with this project and have committed to helping over the coming months and the rest of the year, and perhaps even into early next year. I hope not. But basically, there's a lot of energy that's going into this. And while each of us individually is not currently orange pilling people in the process of this project, the hope is that once this project is complete, we'll be looking at least 21,000 people that have come to understand Bitcoin at a deeper level, or beginning to ask those questions like, what is money, what's actually going on, and et cetera, that gets them going down the orange pill route. And so the hope being that if the film roughly costs $20,000 pure expenses, and orange pills roughly 20,000 people, the hope is to orange pill one person for every dollar that is being spent on the production. So the production itself, most of which you go to post-production, you have graphics, you have editing costs, you have stock footage, you have music composition, you have many things that go into this. And so that's the hope. $20,000 for a film of this size is really reasonable. It's nowhere in the six figures, even though probably a comparable film would be close to that, if not easily that. And we think that's a very efficient way to help people understand, help people begin taking that first step in understanding Bitcoin and pursuing that route. So how do we do that in an hour? Well, obviously the film will be just over an hour, probably an hour and a half will be the length of the mass released version. But how can you be a part of that? Well, obviously I've made it known before, but I'll say it here again, is that I'm fundraising for this film. And $30 is, or $30 or 100,000 Satoshis, so I guess at the time of recording, a little less than $30 is the benchmark at which will put you in the credits. And so the hope with that is that if you give, say, $30, 30 US, and 100,000 sats. You help us fund the production, you help us make this thing. And in doing that, if we assume a dollar conversion rate, hopefully that means that you have indirectly helped fund orange pilling 30 people. That's the goal. Perhaps we don't reach it, perhaps we exceed it, but that's the aim. So then the question becomes, how long does it take for you to earn $30? I think for most people, perhaps not everyone, for most people, they could probably earn $30 between half an hour and 3 hours. So, $10 to $60. That's typically what people make per hour, I suppose, more or less, whatever. Everyone's different and everyone comes from their own spot. But, that's the idea, that if you are interested in helping have this vision come to life, and if you're willing to give 1 hour of your time, 60 minutes of your salary, of your work, work for work, proof of work, if you're able to contribute 1 hour of that, the hope would be to be able to take that and orange pill 30 people, maybe 10, maybe 100, but that's the hope. And so fundraising has been going well. Let's see if I can share this here. Fundraising has been going well. Let's see what we're at. We're at 16 million sats. Hopefully you can see my screen here. 16 million sats. Oh, we had a nice donation here, 1 million sats. Thank you very much, whoever you are. And it's been really wonderful. It's been really humbling to see people really support this idea, really support me and support the team. 100,000 sats, 20,000 sats, another 1 million sats or so. But that's the vision of this project: a low time preference feature like Bitcoin movie with a presentation quality that's both applicable to a wide ranging audience as well as engaging. That's really important, to have it be engaging to people to where they actually watch the whole thing, because most people won't spend 60 minutes on a subject that they don't find disengaging, or spend on a subject that they don't see it being a solution to their problem. So that's what this movie is going to be about. It's going to be about defining the problem. I hope that both myself and the other people helping me on this project are able to define the problem well enough that people walk away from watching this, either partially or in full, having the seed planted in their mind and wanting to ask more questions and wanting to learn more. And if you want to be a part of that, your support would really mean a lot, of just being able to give an hour's worth of your time in helping make this become a reality, and helping orange pill other people. So how do you orange pill someone in 60 minutes? It's difficult, borderline impossible, but I hope to provide a way in which that becomes a little less difficult and a little less impossible, to where actually just for an hour's worth of your work and of your time, perhaps you could have some sort of indirect impact on this larger goal. So anyway, besides that, just keep at it, keep educating people, and be nice. Be nice to people. People have a long way to reinterpret their view of the world. So just patience and persistence. Yeah. So anyway, it's on Geyser and GoFundMe. You can find me on Twitter, Luke D. Broyles. I've tweeted about it, but yeah, if you're willing to throw a few sats our way, would mean a lot. So thanks.